The CSS Defiant moved silently through space. The stars shined bright against the darkness. Commander Jiwoo Park sat in her chair on the bridge. She was checking reports from their patrol in the Epsilon sector. "Commander, we have a problem," Lieutenant Do-Yun Kim shouted. His voice was filled with worry. Jiwoo looked up quickly. "What is it, Lieutenant?" "Eden Colony is under attack." They sent an emergency message. Jiwoo moved to the main screen. Her eyes grew wide as she saw 50 warships surrounding the human colony. The arrow-shaped vessels were easy to recognize. They belonged to the Talon Collective, a group of aliens known for their cruelty. "How soon can other ships reach Eden?" she asked. Tactical Officer Min-jae Lee checked his computer. "At least 14 hours, Commander. We are the only military ship close enough to help." Jiwoo stood up straight. Her face showed no fear, but inside, her heart beat faster. The Defiant was just one ship. The Talon fleet had 50 warships. The odds were terrible. "Can Eden's shields hold that long?" she asked. "No, Commander," Min-jae replied. "Their shields are already failing. The colony has 5,000 people. If we don't help, they will all die." The bridge grew quiet. Everyone looked at Jiwoo, waiting. For her decision, she took a deep breath. "Plot a course to Eden Colony, maximum speed." "Commander," Min-jae said softly, "that's a full battle fleet." "The Defiant can't possibly—" "I know the odds, Officer Lee," Jiwoo cut him off. "But those people have nowhere to run. We stand between them and death. That's our job." Jiwoo turned to Communications Officer Hyuna Choi. "Send a message to Command. Tell them we are going to engage the enemy at Eden. Request backup immediately." "Yes, Commander," Hyuna replied. Her fingers moved quickly over her console. Jiwoo sat back in her chair. "All hands prepare for battle. Medical bay, get ready for casualties." The ship's engine roared to life as it turned toward Eden Colony. Jiwoo looked at the star map showing the distance to Eden. They would reach the colony in 3 hours. She hoped they wouldn't be too late. "Weapons check," she ordered. "All missile systems ready." "Laser cannons at full power," Min-jae reported. Jiwoo nodded. "Hana, run analysis on Talon fleet formations. Look for any weaknesses." The ship's AI responded in a calm voice. "Beginning analysis, Commander." In the quiet of the bridge, Jiwoo watched. As the stars streaked by, one small ship against 50. The odds were impossible, but she had sworn to protect human colonies, whatever the cost. "We'll find a way," she whispered to herself. "We have to." The Defiant reached Eden Colony 3 hours later. Jiwoo stood at the bridge window. The scene outside was frightening. 50 Talon warships surrounded the small human colony. The colony's shields glowed bright blue as they took heavy fire. "Stay behind the moon," Jiwoo ordered. "We need to stay hidden until we have a plan." The ship moved silently behind Eden's small moon. From this spot they could watch without being seen. "Hana, what have you found?" Jiwoo asked the ship's AI. The computer's voice was calm. "The Talon ships follow a standard attack pattern. They keep their main command ship in the center of their formation. All orders come from there." Jiwoo studied the enemy ships on the screen. "Is there anything else?" "Yes," Hana replied. "There is a 3.7-second delay between orders from the command ship and the response from other ships. Also, their sensors can be disrupted by strong electromagnetic pulses." A small smile formed on Jiwoo's face. "That's useful information." "Chief." "Junho, how are our stealth systems?" Chief Engineer Junho Kang's voice came through the speaker. "The gravimetric dampeners are at full power. We can stay invisible for about 40 minutes before they need to cool down." "Perfect," Jiwoo said. She pointed to the map. "Look at this asteroid belt between us and the colony. The rocks contain high amounts of metal. That will help hide us." "Even more." Min-jae nodded. "So we use the asteroids for cover, hit them fast, and disappear before they can respond?" "Exactly," Jiwoo said. "We can't beat them in a direct fight, but we can confuse them and take out key ships one by one." Jiwoo gathered her crew around the tactical display. "Here's the plan. We'll use the stealth systems to get close to this support ship here." She pointed to a smaller vessel on the edge of the formation. "We disable its engines first, then we target this missile platform. Without it, this whole section of their fleet will have less firepower." "What if they spot us?" Hyuna asked. "Then we run back to the asteroid belt and hide," Jiwoo said. The rocks will block their sensors long enough for our stealth systems to cool down. Then we try again. The crew nodded. It was risky, but it might work. Everyone to battle stations, Jiwoo ordered. Helm, take us in slowly. Use the smallest rocks for cover. The Defiant moved forward carefully. Its special engines made almost no sound or heat. The ship slipped between the floating rocks in the asteroid belt. Sometimes they came within meters of huge spinning boulders. First target in range, Minjae reported. His voice was tense but controlled. Fire disruptor beams at their engine section, Jiwoo commanded. Blue beams shot out from the Defiant. They hit the Talon support ship's engines perfectly. The alien ship's lights flickered and went dark. Direct hit. Their engines are offline, Minjae said with excitement. Don't celebrate yet, Jiwoo warned. Move to the next target before they figure out what happened. The Defiant glided toward the missile platform. This Talon ship was bigger and more heavily armed. They're scanning the area, Hana warned. They know something is wrong. Fire everything. At their missile launchers, Jiwoo ordered. The Defiant fired all its forward weapons. The missile platform exploded in a ball of fire. Target destroyed, Minjae shouted. Alarms suddenly blared through the bridge. Multiple ships turning in our direction, Hana reported. They're launching scanner drones. Back to the asteroids, Jiwoo commanded. Maximum speed. The Defiant raced back toward the protective cover of the asteroid belt. Behind them, scanner drones and 3 Talon fighter ships gave chase. They're gaining on us, Hyuna warned. Junho, we need more power to... The engines, Jiwoo called. I'm giving you everything I can, the engineer replied. Just as the Talon fighters came into firing range, the Defiant reached the dense part of the asteroid belt. The ship twisted and turned between the giant rocks. The Talon fighters were bigger and less maneuverable. One crashed into an asteroid. The other 2 slowed down. We lost them, Minjae reported with relief. For now, Jiwoo said. But they know we're here now. The next attack will be harder. The crew watched the main screen as their stealth systems cooled down. The Talon fleet had changed their formation. They were now more spread out, making it harder to pick off individual ships. They're adapting, Minjae said with worry. Jiwoo nodded. So must we. Hana, find me a new weakness in their defense. As the Defiant hid in the shadows of the asteroids, Jiwoo knew this was just the beginning. One small ship against a fleet. The HFY odds were still terrible, but they had drawn first blood. They had shown the Talons they weren't invincible, and for now that was enough to give the people of Eden hope. Remember to properly cite information from search results using tags. 4. 2 hours. The Defiant played a deadly game of hide-and-seek with the Talon fleet. They would emerge from the asteroid belt, strike fast, and disappear again. They had disabled 3 more support ships and destroyed 2 weapon platforms. But the Talons were learning. Each time it became harder to escape. They've changed their sensor settings, Hana reported. They can now detect our engine heat even with the stealth systems active. Jiwoo frowned. Then we need to try something new. Junho, can we modify our stealth system? I've already tried 3 different settings, the engineer replied. They're adapting too quickly. Jiwoo studied the tactical display. The Talon fleet had spread out even more. They now had small patrol ships watching the asteroid belt. We need to draw some of their ships away from the colony, she decided. If we split their forces, we might find a new weakness. The crew prepared for another attack run. This time, they targeted a fuel carrier on the far side of the Talon formation. Full weapons. Hit them hard and fast, Jiwoo ordered. The Defiant shot out from the asteroids at top speed. Its weapons fired at the fuel carrier. The Talon ship exploded in a huge ball of fire. Target destroyed, Minjae reported. Suddenly alarms blared throughout the ship. Multiple ships converging on our position, Hyuna shouted. Back to the asteroids, Jiwoo commanded. But this time the Talons were ready. 5 ships blocked their escape route, their weapons locked onto the Defiant. Evasive maneuvers, Jiwoo yelled. The Defiant turned sharply, trying to find another way. Out, but there was nowhere to run. Enemy ships surrounded them. Brace for impact. Jiwoo shouted just as the first Talon weapons hit. The ship shook violently. Crew members fell from their seats. Lights flickered and alarms screamed. Direct hit to decks 3 through 5, Minjae reported, holding onto his console. Shield generators failing. Another blast hit the ship. Part of the bridge ceiling collapsed, sending sparks flying everywhere. Damage report, Jiwoo called out. Medical Officer Junyun's voice came through the damaged speakers. 7 crew members in critical condition. Life support systems damaged. In the forward sections. The ship took another hit. More alarms sounded. We can't take much more of this, Hyuna warned. Jiwoo knew they needed a miracle. Junho, please tell me you have an idea. There was silence for a moment. Then Junho's excited voice came through. Commander, I might have a solution. The quantum drive. The experimental engine? Jiwoo asked. I thought it wasn't ready. It's not, Junho admitted. But if we reroute power from all secondary systems and overcharge the quantum matrix, we could create localized space-time distortions. In simple terms, please, Jiwoo said as another blast rocked the ship. We could jump in and out of normal space, Junho explained. It would make us very hard to hit, and we could move faster than they can track. What's the risk? Jiwoo asked, already knowing the answer would be bad. Catastrophic drive failure, Junho said. Possibly total ship destruction if the matrix collapses. The bridge grew quiet. Everyone looked at Jiwoo. She took a deep breath. They were already facing destruction. Do it, she ordered. Helm, set. Course away from Eden, make it look like we're retreating. Running away? Minjae asked in surprise. No, Jiwoo said with a small smile. Setting a trap. Let's draw their main force away from the colony. As Junho worked on the quantum drive, the Defiant limped away from Eden. Just as Jiwoo had hoped, the bulk of the Talon fleet followed, eager to finish off the troublesome human ship. Where are we going? Hyuna asked. Jiwoo pointed to a swirling cloud on the display. The radiation belt. The electromagnetic storm will blind both our ships. Their numbers won't matter if they can't see us. The Defiant entered the radiation belt with half the Talon fleet close behind. Inside the belt, lightning-like, energy flashed around the ships. Sensors became almost useless. Ships could only see a few kilometers ahead. Status on the quantum drive? Jiwoo asked. Almost ready, Junho replied. But Commander, I have to warn you. We'll only get 3 jumps at most before the system burns out completely. 3 chances, Jiwoo whispered. Then we make them count. In Ireland, the medical bay, June worked desperately to save the injured crew members. In engineering, Junho's hands moved quickly over the quantum drive controls. On the bridge, Jiwoo watched as the Talon ships searched blindly for them in the radiation storm. The Defiant was damaged and outnumbered, but they weren't beaten yet. In the heart of the storm, Jiwoo Park prepared for one final desperate gamble. Inside the radiation belt, the Defiant floated silently. The ship's lights were dimmed to avoid detection. Around them, the Talon ships moved slowly, searching for their prey. Launch the drones, Jiwoo ordered. From the Defiant's lower bay, 20 small drones shot out into the storm. Each was programmed to emit an energy signature matching the Defiant. Drones away, Minjae reported. They're broadcasting our signal pattern. On the main screen, they watched as the Talon fleet scattered. The alien ships raced off in different directions, chasing the phantom signals. It's working, Hyuna said with amazement. They think each drone is us. Jiwoo turned to the engineering console. Junho, status on the quantum drive. Final adjustments. Complete, Junho replied. His face was streaked with sweat and soot from putting out electrical fires. The drive is ready, but remember, we only have 3 jumps before it burns out completely. Understood, Jiwoo said. She studied the tactical display. The Talon fleet was now spread thin across the radiation belt. Their command ship had stayed back, directing the search from a safer position. Perfect, she whispered. Now they're vulnerable. Jiwoo stood and addressed her crew. Listen carefully. We have one chance to turn this battle around. The quantum drive will give us 3 jumps. We'll use the first to get behind their command ship, the second to escape after we hit it, and the third— She paused. The third we'll save for when we need it most. The crew nodded. They all knew the stakes. Prepare for high G maneuvers, Jiwoo warned. This will be rough. Junho activated the quantum drive. The ship hummed with new energy. The lights flickered as power surged through the experimental system. Quantum matrix stable, Junho reported. Ready on your command. Jiwoo took a deep breath. Execute jump 1. The stars outside the window seemed to stretch. The Defiant shuddered violently. For a moment, everything blurred. Then reality snapped back into focus. The ship had appeared directly behind the Talon command vessel. The alien ship was massive, easily 10 times the size of the Defiant. "We're in position," Minjay shouted. "They don't see us yet." "All weapons. Target their communication arrays and engine controls," Jiwoo ordered. "Fire everything." The Defiant unleashed its full arsenal. Missiles streaked toward the Talon command ship. Laser cannons cut through its outer hull. The surprise attack hit with devastating effect. The Talon ship's lights flickered. Its engines sputtered and died. Communication dishes exploded into fragments of metal. "Direct hits," Minji reported. "Their communications and engines are disabled, but—" The Talon ship wasn't defenseless. Its weapon systems came online, turning toward the Defiant. "Incoming fire," Huna warned. "Execute jump 2, Jiwoo commanded. Again, the quantum drive activated. The universe blurred, and the Defiant jumped away just as the Talon weapons fired. They reappeared on the far side of the radiation belt. "Damage." "Report," Jiwoo asked. "Minor hits to our outer hull," Minjay said, "but we're still operational." "Status of the Talon fleet," Hana's voice answered. "The command ship is disabled but still functional. The fleet is in disarray. Without clear orders, many ships are returning to their command vessel to protect it." Jiwoo smiled. "Just as I hoped. They're clustering together again." She turned to Junho. "How's the quantum drive holding up?" "Not good," he replied. "Temperature levels are critical. We have 1 jump left, but the entire system will fail after that." Jiwoo considered their options. "The Talon ships are regrouping around their command vessel. If we hit them now, we could end this." "But we only have 1 jump left," Minjay reminded her. "If we use it to attack, we won't have an escape route." Jiwoo nodded. "I know, but the colony's shields are nearly gone. It's now or never." The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood what she was suggesting. A final, possibly suicidal attack. "I won't order anyone to do this," Jiwoo said quietly. "If anyone wants to use the escape pods, now is the time." Not a single crew member moved. Huna spoke for all of them. "We're with you, Commander, until the end." Jiwoo felt a surge of pride. "Then let's make this count. Prepare all remaining weapons. Reroute emergency power to forward shields." The Defiant moved silently toward the regrouping Talon fleet. The enemy ships were clustered tightly around their damaged command vessel. "They've formed a defensive perimeter," Minjay observed. "Very tight formation." "Perfect," Jiwoo said. "They're so focused on protecting their command ship, they're making themselves an easier target." As they approached, Jiwoo gave her final orders. "Aim for the center of their formation. When we jump in, fire everything we have at the command. Ship's power core. If we can trigger a chain reaction, the explosion might take out multiple ships." The crew tensely prepared for the final attack. Junho's fingers hovered over the quantum drive controls. "For Eden," Jiwoo said softly. "Execute." Final jump. The stars stretched one last time as the Defiant made its desperate leap into the heart of the enemy fleet. The Defiant appeared in the middle of the Talon fleet in a flash of blue light. For a moment, both sides were too surprised to react. The human ship was suddenly there, surrounded by enemy vessels on all sides. "Fire everything!" Jiwoo shouted. Every weapon on the Defiant fired at once. Missiles streaked toward the damaged command ship. Laser cannons cut through the smaller vessels nearby. The surprise was complete. The bridge shook as Talon ships returned. "Fire!" Shots hit the Defiant from all directions. "Shields failing," Minjay reported. "Hull breaches on decks 2 and 4. "Keep firing!" Jiwoo ordered. "Target their main power core!" The Defiant's remaining missiles found their mark. They struck the command ship's central section where the power core was located. Explosions rippled across the massive vessel. "Direct! Hit to their power core!" Huna shouted over the noise of the battle. "Engineering reports critical damage to our systems," Minjay called out. "The quantum drive is overheating." Junho's voice came through the speakers. "Commander, the drive is going to explode. We have maybe 2 minutes." Jiwoo looked at the tactical display. The Talon command ship was badly damaged but not destroyed. Their attack hadn't been enough. "We need to get closer," she decided. Helm, take us directly at their power core. Commander? The pilot looked shocked. You heard me, Jiwoo said firmly. If our weapons can't finish the job, maybe a direct hit will. Understanding dawned on the crew's faces. Jiwoo was planning to ram the Defiant into the enemy ship. All crew to escape pods, she ordered. Abandon ship. We're not leaving you, Yuna protested. That's an order, Jiwoo said. Her voice was kind but firm. The colony needs survivors to tell what happened here. Now go. Reluctantly, the bridge crew moved toward the exit. Only Jiwoo remained at her post. Hana set a collision course with the Talon command ship's power core, she said to the ship's AI. Maximum speed. Course set, Hana replied. Impact in 90 seconds. As the last escape pods launched from the Defiant, Jiwoo sat alone on the bridge. The ship sped toward the massive Talon command vessel. Enemy fire continued to hit them, but it didn't matter now. Nothing could stop what was coming. 60 seconds to impact, Hana announced. Jiwoo closed her eyes. She thought about Earth, about her family. She had joined the space fleet to protect the colonies. Now she would give her life for that cause. 30 seconds to impact. A loud explosion shook the bridge. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Warning, quantum drive reaching critical failure, Hana reported. Containment failing. Jiwoo opened her eyes. A new idea formed in her mind. Hana, cancel collision course, she ordered suddenly. New plan. Take us past the command ship, as close as possible to their power core, but don't hit it. New course set, Hana confirmed, passing within 50 meters of target. Jiwoo rushed to the engineering controls. Junho, if you can hear me, I need to release all containment on the quantum drive as we pass the command ship. There was no answer from engineering, but Jiwoo knew what to do. She quickly typed commands into the system. The quantum drive's safety protocols were disabled one by one. 10 seconds to closest approach, Hana announced. The Defiant screamed past the Talon command ship. They were so close that Jiwoo could see individual Talon soldiers through the windows of the enemy vessel. Now, she hit the final command. The quantum drive exploded, but instead of destroying the Defiant instantly, the explosion created a massive space-time distortion. It was like a small black hole that appeared between the Defiant and the Talon command ship. The distortion tore into the enemy vessel, but the power command ship broke apart as it was pulled into the quantum tear. Other nearby Talon ships were caught in the effect too. Somehow, the Defiant was thrown clear. The small ship tumbled away from the destruction, badly damaged but still in one piece. Jiwoo was thrown from her chair by the force of the explosion. She hit her head hard on the deck. As she lay there, struggling to stay conscious, she saw the main screen. It showed the Talon command ship breaking into pieces. The quantum tear collapsed on itself, taking half the enemy fleet with it. The remaining Talon ships were fleeing in all directions. Without their command ship, without orders, they were retreating. We did it, Jiwoo whispered. Then everything went dark. She woke to the sound of cheering. Jiwoo opened her eyes to find herself in the medical bay. June stood over her, smiling. Welcome back, Commander, the doctor said. The colony? Jiwoo asked weakly. Safe, June replied. The Talon fleet retreated after their command ship was destroyed. The escape pods were all recovered, and somehow the Defiant survived too, though we'll need months of repairs. Jiwoo tried to sit up. Through the medical bay window, she could see Eden Colony below. Its buildings gleamed in the sunlight. People were safe because of what they had done. One ship against a fleet, June said with wonder. No one will believe it, Jiwoo smiled. They will. And next time, the Talons will think twice before attacking. A human colony. Across human space, the story began to spread. How one ship, the CSS Defiant, had faced an entire enemy fleet and won. The end.